The spring statement yesterday was a lot of things, including cautious, strategic, maybe even technocratic, but it was definitely not supportive of the arts. Rufus Norris, who's the outgoing leader of the National Theatre, the director of the National Theatre, and his tenure has come to an end this month, is not surprised. I mean, my observation is that it should come as no surprise that Rachel Reeves doesn't consider the theatre or the arts, or even frankly education, to be very important. In a time of crisis like this one, politicians, whether they are Conservative or Labour, are inclined to prioritise their own survival. This is stupid, of course. For what purpose is survival necessary? Investing in and maintaining the arts is a sign of our civilization, and survival is based on the development of a civilized society. Neither a partisan nor a romantic would be so dismissive, frankly, of the theatre. And for 10 years, Rufus Norris has both literally been searching the Thames shoreline for artefacts from the past, figuratively navigating political turmoil, pandemics, economic hardship to maintain one of the most significant cultural institutions in Britain. And the arts, I think he would share my dismay that this is something which is not included in the financial imagination. The cultural sector received little consideration in Rachel Reeves' spring statement, not even a gesture, frankly. The Department for Culture, Media and Sport was given the goal of cutting its administrative expenses by 15% as defence spending rose and benefits were reduced and higher education was placed on hold. This goes beyond just not giving the creatives a helping hand. This relates to the enduring misconception that the arts are a luxury, a fluff, or an adjunct to the actual economic engines, as Norris suggests in his article, which has been reprinted in The Stage this morning. This is an anti-civilization approach. It's dull and it's short-sighted. The National Theatre has endured severe structural stress under Norris's direction, including real-term funding cuts of over a third. It's been a creative guidance, a struggle to give it guidance during this decade of difficulty. The immobility caused by the pandemic, the increase in energy prices, and what one may refer to as the ministerial merry-go-round, the 12 cultural ministers, most of them barely worth their ministerial office, in 10 years, 12, and people as unbelievably useless as Nadine Dorries and Matt Hancock and Jeremy Hunt. I mean, it's an extraordinary manifestation of the dismissal of the arts year after year, and it's continued under the Labour Party. Nevertheless, more than 5.7 million tickets were sold in that time, a capacity rate of 87%. 1 year, 7 West End transfers, the debut of National Theatre at Home, which was broadcast in 184 nations, 159 school tours, and despite ever-tightening budgets, the UK's National Theatre maintained its true national identity, reaching every local authority. What about representation? Norris set strict goals. At least 25% of performers should represent the variety of Britain, 20% of directors and writers should be from the global majority, 50% of directors and active writers should be women. These were not empty promises, they were fulfilled, or almost so, and the evidence is evident not just on stage, but also in the evolving faces of the alumni and the audiences. Theatre isn't an extravagance. When Norris discusses the role of theatre in education, he raises an important point. The voice isn't that of a theatrical lovey demanding attention. It is an appeal to the view that the arts are a cornerstone of education and of civilization in general. He claims that drama fosters creativity, teamwork, communication, skills that our divided society desperately needs. And this week's cuts and silence surrounding the arts, surrounding theatre, demonstrate that the establishment is still not ready to accept that need. His remark about survival is all the more poignant in that circumstance. What good does a government of any kind do if its sole purpose is simply to stay in power? If not, the circumstances that allow for the growth of culture, beauty, memory, imagination, what is worth protecting? Norris's personal leadership style has been a subdued, cooperative criticism of time when there have been serious theatrical politics. In contrast to some of his predecessors, he's not attempted to control the headlines or imprint his personality on the National Theatre. He said, "I lead in the middle, not at the front." He's instead decentralized power, opened doors, asked better questions. Why are they applauding, and who are they? It's not a weakness, it's wisdom, and it's building on the strengths of his predecessors like Nick Heitner. And while he may not have delivered another war horse, Norris's legacy is probably more significant. He's left behind an institution that is more democratic, more representative, more intellectually ambitious than when he found it. There's a silent reprimand in Norris's words addressed at politicians like Rachel Reeves, who consider theatre and culture as throwaway. But there's also hope that we can yet establish a politics of substance, one that views civilization not as an economic expansion or a military might, but as a society capable of self-reflection, of empathy, and of a shared story.